The worst Chicago police scandals in history. Once the Ida B. Wells housing project, it was where a group of corrupt Chicago cops preyed almost risk-free on residents for most of a decade. Sergeant Ronald Watts was the ringleader. Residents accused him and his squad of extortion, filing false police reports, planting evidence, and assault.
If you didn't cooperate with him, you was going down. You was against him. You was against his operation and his way of getting money.
I was terrified. I was trying to get away, get out that neighborhood. I had nowhere to go.
Willie Martin and Cleon Glover are two of 42 wrongly convicted people exonerated so far by state's attorney Kim Foxx. Lawyers from Fox's Conviction Integrity Unit are reviewing 30 to 40 additional cases connected to Watts.
Did the people in the neighborhood, you know, did they complain about this?
Yeah, everybody spoke up. A lot of people spoke up.
He's a sergeant with a badge. He has his own gang, so who would believe us?
Joshua Tepfer of the University of Chicago's Exoneration Project says the answer until recently was no one.
And they let it go on because they viewed these people as disposable, and they didn't care. These are black people in the housing projects who, in their minds, were guilty of something anyway.
Probably guilty of something.
Anybody that knows Watts, he not reading you your rights.
And Martez Wise went to prison too because of Watts.
During that time, I had just had my son. I was away from him for 4 years. He barely even knew who I was because he was just born. So I had to rebond with him.
4 years taken away for nothing.
I was maliciously stalked by Officer Watts. I don't know what it was. Me and my family lived in the Ida B. Wells homes for a long time, a long period of time. I was out visiting, going to visit. At this time, I was staying in Carpentersville, Illinois, in the suburbs. I was out visiting. On this day, this man destroyed my physical, mental stability. To this day, I wake up and dream of night terrors about the incident in general. He wanted me to tell on information about my family members and people who was around my family members was something that I didn't even know about because I was just visiting. To this day, I am not. The man gave me 52 bags of heroin. Each and every bag had fentanyl in it. And I literally told the first person I can hear to try to hear, it's not mine. He's giving me this. Can someone please help me? No one helped me. No, they looked at me. They shoved me away. They locked me up. They made me plead to a case because they told me they was going to give me 10 or 20 years or something like that. But my whole life is literally in shambles. I would never be the same ever again. Did you go? Yes, sir.
The same thing what my boy's saying. You know, Watts was rough down there. He put the same drug on me, heroin. And I was on parole at the time, which means I had to go to the IDOC and fight my case from the penitentiary. Sitting in a dog hole 24 hours a day, fighting a new case because of Sergeant Watts and his team. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep it brief. I just want to congratulate everybody that's behind me. Congratulations to the lawyers. And I'm just glad justice served, man. That's it.
Mr. Burke, can I ask you a question? This is a long time coming. They can look back at these cases, they 15 years or better for some of us. This officer, like, no one heard our cries when it was time. And it's like, we thankful for Sean and Josh for doing what they're doing for us. But this is a message to the system. Y'all need to do better. We can tell you stories about what we went through being locked up or whatever, but it get deeper than that. Some of us lost our families behind this, you know what I mean?
I'm talking about something that they're doing that we thought for the longest. We all know these agents are dropping weapons in Chicago. We all know about the train crates. See, y'all heard about that around a couple of years ago, but when we were growing up as youngers, it was in movies and stuff. You seen crates with weapons and all that in the movies. Subliminally, they were telling me that since I was 9 years old. In Chicago, in the hood in general, they dropping weapons and all that to let the propaganda go on, bro. I started paying attention, bro. They want you to believe what you seeing there. How you know Lil Reese and them and the victims, they know what's really going on, and they're probably nothing disrespectful. It got them shook because these people are a deep entity. So it got Reese and them shook to the point, man, none of y'all know who these people really is. We do, and y'all wouldn't even believe us. So we can't even tell y'all the truth, or not just us might be stained, our family might be stained. So you gotta watch what you do. Yeah, bro, it gets deep, bro. It's something deeper that nobody can talk about. I'm talking about COINTEL, bro. COINTEL. Go Google what COINTEL is. I can't go deeper because I'm trying to follow YouTube policies and guidelines. This is bigger than even the police departments. I think this is way bigger than Chicago PD. This ain't no Chicago PD thing, bro. It's COINTEL, bro. Like, think, bro. Like, look at Chicago. It's the most perfect place. And then now Jacksonville, they're doing it in, and a lot of other places too. They're doing it in Brooklyn. They're doing it in Dallas and in Fort Worth, aka it's almost the same thing, but Houston. They're doing it all these states, bro. Think about it. When they know when they know there's a big war going on between rival hoods and neighborhoods, and they know potentially these people, if it get out of hand, it's money through the judicial system and arrest, violence, and all that. Violence bring money, and the pain and suffering and extermination, educational purpose for a particular group of people. You're gonna enhance it. How do you enhance it? You pretend you this other neighborhood's op late night or even broad daylight in the afternoon because you're masked on. Remember? The whole time you masked up. How they know who you are? How you know I'm the ops all the time? I'm masked up. I'm masked up, Jack. And I'm not saying that ops ain't killing ops, educational purpose and all that. We know what's going on. I'm just saying the other part of it.
2 ATF agents have been shot, another officer wounded. Let's go right to Superintendent David Brown outside Advocate Christ Medical Center.
At 5:50 a.m. this morning, we've had 3 officers shot on the on-ramp, which is in our 22nd district. Officers were fired upon from the street towards the on-ramp while they were in their car on-ramping onto the freeway.
Now, I bet y'all wonder why somebody would randomly approach a car and start shooting at them, right? Well, that's the thing. It's probably not random. Sounds like fucking retaliation to me. And just the way this story being explained, it just tells me that my theory about what's going on in Chicago may be true. I ain't gonna say it is, but I'm gonna just share it with y'all. I know for a fact Chicago Police Department is a Freemason cesspool. That's a fact. All the symbolism and the weird shit they got going on around that place is obvious. All of the checkerboard patterns and shit, all the shit we see with Freemason symbolism, right? And I even got it in this video right here. The contrast of white and black symbolizes the moral dichotomy of good and evil. Check out that video. It's on my channel. I have a lot of pictures exposing the symbolism around the Chicago Police Department. So I just know it's a Freemason cesspool we dealing with. So we got that out the way. Y'all know how Chicago is known for all of these murders happening on a daily basis, especially in the summer. And then these holidays like July 4th is always a day where a lot of people die. They try to blame the gang members every time, right? They blame the gang members for everything. They try to basically blame black people for all the fucking crime in Chicago. They seem to do that, even though it's like Hispanic gangs and shit there too, but you know how that go. Y'all know how they work with these stupid ass statistics. Like, history shows us who the real savages are. You know, the 80% in this country. The history shows us that. So for them to try to bring these statistics and paint us as the villains, you know it's bullshit, man. Like, of course, the majority in this country not gonna make themselves look like they're the villain. So when they make shit like statistics that say black people commit 50% of crimes or murders or whatever it is, it's pure bullshit. It's to distract you from the truth and the murders that aren't accounted for, because, you know, police kill people and that doesn't go into the murder rate statistics, right? So these motherfuckers actually killing way more people than anybody on the streets are, but that ain't accounted for in the statistics. It's legal for them. They heroic when they killing motherfuckers. The military, they heroic when they killing motherfuckers. So when we doing the same shit they doing and we start stacking bodies on top of bodies, then that's when the statistics come and try to, you know, try to paint a bad picture about us. But let me stick to the point. This type of shit happened because these undercover officers, like you see, it was 2 undercover officers and another officer in the car, they be the motherfuckers actually committing all the murders in Chicago. Little do y'all know. That's just what I think. So I ain't gonna say it like it's a definite. I'm just telling you what I think. I think it be them motherfuckers doing that shit, bro. I've heard story after story of unmarked cars and shit with, you know, full of police looking motherfuckers just pulling up on people and getting them up out of there in Chicago. I've heard plenty of stories. I'm from Illinois. I was born in Illinois. I'm not from Chicago, but close enough. So I can speak on this. So when you see somebody pull up on a undercover officer's car, there's 3 officers in the car, and they shooting at these undercover officers, like why do y'all think that would happen? It had to be out of retaliation. Guess what? They probably, the people that pulled up on these officers and shot them probably had just got shot at by them same fucking officers shortly before that. Think about it. It wasn't no random act of violence like they want to act like. Ain't no such thing as a random act of violence. It's something always leading up to something like this happening. And even in this video, he said there has been 36 officers shot or killed or something like that in Chicago recently. Matter of fact, let me play the video. Let him say it himself.
57. Each of these officers have non-life-threatening injuries. And as you know, this is the 36th officer shot at or shot Chicago PD this year.
36 officers shot at this year. Now, why do y'all think that shit is happening? People ain't just shooting at the fucking officers for no reason. That shit is out of retaliation. Them cops is mowing niggas down, bruh. That's why Chicago murder rate looks so fucking bad. It's the people with power running around this country doing crazy shit like that. You know, people with power like the cops, you know, they definitely got more power than a fucking gang member does. So if you think these are random acts of violence, when you see stories like this about cops getting shot at and shit, it's a reason why this shit happening, and I ain't mad at it. I ain't mad at it. I'll be the last motherfucker sitting here feeling sorry for these cops getting shot at, because I know people don't just attack people for no fucking reason. And if you don't believe me when it comes to what I'm saying about what goes on in Chicago, I mean, it goes on in a lot of cities, but this is what we talking about right now. So I'm gonna give y'all some examples of these police being reckless because they know they usually can get away with the shit.
Breaking news, a Chicago police officer sentenced to prison. Officer Marco Porano was found guilty of civil rights violations for shooting at a car full of teenagers.
Marco Porano says all he was trying to do was protect human life the night he fired 16 shots into a stolen Toyota filled with African-American teens. Before being sentenced for 2 felony counts of using excessive force, the 10-year Chicago Police Department veteran told the judge he was not hunting for somebody or out to hurt anyone the December 2013 night he opened fire.
3 Chicago police officers are charged with an alleged cover-up in connection with the deadly shooting of a black teenager.
The initial official account of the shooting was aggressive young man with a knife lunges at police officer in self-defense and defense of his fellow officers. The police officer shoots him in the chest. He dies sometime later at a nearby hospital. A copy of the autopsy revealed that he was shot 16 times, front and back. So whatever happened that night, the police account of what happened could not be true. What we learned was from 2000 to 2016, only 1.2% of civilian complaints resulted in an officer being disciplined in the form of suspension or termination. Out of more than 8,700 excessive force claims from January 2007 to June 2016, investigators sustained only 1.5% of the cases. Some 61% of complaints come from black Chicagoans, yet those complaints make up only 25% of those eventually proven. Similarly, black officers are disproportionately found guilty of an offense and suffer higher punishments as a result.
Now just imagine the type of stuff that don't make the news, you know what I'm saying? The shit that these cops actually get away with. Just like people on the streets get away with doing certain things they shouldn't be doing, of course, people with more power, like the cops, is going to get away with even more shit than an average street guy can. So just imagine